rings of light brings us back to our original sense of self. It reminds us that we have a container to function from, but it also helps us to know what to do with it to keep it active. We have these rings of light that are around us, all the way around, below and above us. If we're not aware of them, what happens when we walk around in the world is we bump into experiences, stressful things, traumatic things, other people that are dark and ugly and, depressed about winter like we all are. But we bump up against life. And then our rings of light start rotating in the wrong direction. And sometimes they just collapse around at the bottom of our feet. If we're not aware that we have these rings of light, then we end up feeling like we don't have a container. And what happens then is we feel exposed and we feel naked or we don't feel safe. The purpose of us having these rings of light is so that we have a place to function from that not only feels safe, they also give us a place to pause. Because when I'm thinking of something, words come up or a reaction is festering. When we have these rings of light activated, I might just pause for just a little moment before I go out into the world, before those words come flying out. It also gives me a pause so that if there is something that's coming up inside of me, I also feel safe enough to say it. These rings of light activated help us to balance both the passive and the aggressive strategies that we have in life on the way out from us. But we also get a pause about what comes into our container. It's kind of like having a guard at the door checking our IDs. This guard at the door is going to check and see, do I want this in here? Do I want that energy in here? Do I want those words in here? Do I want that belief system in my container? These rings of light give us a pause on the way out, and it gives us a pause on the way in. It also gives us this place to notice if we did take something in last week, it's still hanging around, and maybe I thought it was really cool last week, but now this week it's not so cool, and we can send it out. When we get into this meditation tonight, it's something that sticks. It's something that wakes us up and makes us aware so that we can walk around and function and notice and feel how those rings of light are working or not working. And if they're not working or they're not moving or they've collapsed around the bottoms of our feet, we can just take a breath and activate all of them. And what you'll notice is that when you're walking around in the world and you're bumping up into or moving around, you're going to feel differently because you're going to feel held. When we feel held, we breathe. When we breathe, we function better, we think more clearly, we feel more authentically confident. When we feel held, we feel safe, we relax, and we are our best self far more often than if we're running around the world feeling completely exposed and not held at all. These rings of light were here when you got here. They've always been here. The only difference is we just forgot or we haven't learned about them, and now we're going to so you can keep them active. I would suggest that you check in with your rings of light throughout the day, and then when you go to bed at night, check in and see where things are and run your rings of light with your breath like you'll learn once we're done with the meditation. Do it on purpose for a while, kind of get into your unconscious, and then it happens all on its own. So I want to invite you to relax, close your eyes, sink into your body. Know that you are in a safe place. Surrender to your breath and surrender to your noticing from deep within. And as you bring that breath into your body, bring it into your lungs. Allow that breath to go beyond your lungs, down into your belly. Allow that breath to sink into your belly, behind your belly button. The original place of your light coming in to this world. Remember what it feels like in that creation energy. Remember what it feels like to just be light. Before you had limbs, before you had a heartbeat, before you had an attachment to anything outside of you. Before you were physical body, you were light. This little beam of light pulses and glows. Begin to imagine a circle of light coming from the inside of that little beam of light. This ring of light moves all the way around, creating a loop around the front, side, the back, around the other side, and back around the front. This ring of light rotates in whichever direction you see it rotating. It doesn't matter which way it starts. This ring of light begins to grow. As it moves around the core light of you, it begins to get bigger and bigger, extending to the outside of your physical body. About 18 inches around, moving at a peaceful, gentle pace that feels oh so comfortable. It moves and flows, being fed from the original light of you. Breathe into that ring of light and feel it. Notice its movement. If there's any color, absence of color. Notice all the sensations from this one ring of light. Breathing into that ring of light, create the second ring of light. Moving up your body just a bit. A second ring of light now rotating around the bottom of your ribs. Rotating in the same direction as that first ring of light. Rotating at the same pace. These rings of light are beginning to surround you, beginning to hold you. A third ring of light around the middle part of your ribs. A fourth ring of light around your upper ribs. And now another around your shoulders, all the way around your body, holding you in rings of light, beginning to create a capsule just for you. Another breath, another ring of light all the way around your neck, holding you safely, peacefully, with strength, ease. Notice if there's any resistance, and if there is resistance in any one of these rings of light, you just need to breathe. Let the energy move. Resistance doesn't need to be analyzed. Resistance doesn't need to be talked about. It just needs breath. Another ring of light around your jaw. Another ring of light around the middle of your head. Another ring of light around your forehead. A breath, another ring of light around the top of your head. Noticing, breathing, creating from the original light of you, these beautiful rings of light, creating a container just for you. And when you feel like you are ready, I want you to take a nice deep breath and send multiple rings of light straight up into the heavens, staying connected to your rings of light that are around your body. Rings of light, rings of light, rings of light, all the way up into the heavens, as far as you can imagine and beyond your imagination. Every one of those rings of light connected with your breath, connected with your original creation light. Oh my, it's amazing. Incredible. Expansive, vast, outstanding. These rings of light go up and up, connecting you to all of this amazing knowledge, wisdom that you can only begin to see, all possibility of the heavens, the star nation, and beyond. Universal knowledge. Touching, brushing up against, receiving, becoming one with the light of all that is up there. Your rings of light connected to the heavens. Your rings of light marinating in the vastness, becoming one with eternal universal knowledge. Your rings of light, part of the all light. Breathing into your rings of light that are connected all the way up. And when you have received all that there is to see, begin to create rings of light coming down from the heavens. Another set of rings of light returning from above. These rings of light are rotating in the opposite direction from the ones that you sent up. Creating rings of light returning to you down from the heavens just above your head. Creating a ring of light that rotates around your forehead. Another one around the middle of your face. Another one around your jaw. Now you have rings of light rotating in one direction and a second set of rings rotating in the other direction. Continuing to bring those rings of light down from the heavens around your neck, your shoulders, around your chest, middle of your ribs, your lower ribs, and one around the middle of your belly, pairing with those original rings of light. You now have 2 sets of rings of light, beginning around the center of your belly, extended out around you, all the way up into the heavens, and a second set coming all the way down from the heavens. Breathing into all of these rings of light in one perfect breath, feeling them all, seeing them all, noticing all of the sensations that come from this holding, from this container. And as you take your next breath, continue those rings of light that came down from the heavens below your belly. Another one around your upper hips. Another ring of light around the middle of your hips, holding you, supporting you. Another one at the bottom part of your hips, creating stability. Down around your thighs. Another ring of light just above your knees. Another one around your knees. And then one just below. Ring of light around your calves. A ring around your ankles. Around your feet. And a ring of light just below your feet. Breathing into that space for just a moment. Noticing all of your rings of light that you have created so far. These rings of light that you have reunited with, that you've forgotten. And now you remember. Now you remember these rings of light that you are. These rings of light that hold you. These rings of light that create the container for you to walk around on this earth. And when you feel like you are ready, send those rings of light down, 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 down beneath you into the earth. Creating rings of light one on top of the other through the grass and the dirt and the rock and the water that flows. Down into the lava, down into the core crystal light of the earth. Remember what that feels like to be so connected with the place that you walk, that you can feel the pulse of the earth, that heartbeat of this planet. Go there with your rings of light and breathe that in. Allow the light that started out in the middle of you to connect with the core of the earth, the pulse of the earth, the creation energy of the earth. Breathing in that wisdom, that knowledge, that life. Breathing into your rings of light. All that there is to see, know, and remember from the core of the earth. And when you feel ready, begin to create a set of rings that return from the core of the earth, rotating in the same direction that you started with. Now you have 2 sets of rings of light that come back to you, that connect you to the core of the earth. And as those rings of light return from the core of the earth and rotate around the bottoms of your feet, Begin to bring those rings of light, one by one, up your body, around your feet. Another one around your ankles, then your calves, around your knees, your thighs. And breathing into a ring of light below your hips, around the middle of your hips, your upper hips, holding you, returning to the middle of your belly, connecting with that very first ring of light that you started in the beginning. Breathing in and feeling every ring of light. Now you have rings of light moving in both directions, holding you perfectly, holding you safely, connecting you to the earth, connecting you to the heavens. Notice that you've felt this way before. Perhaps you got distracted with human things. Perhaps this brings you back. And now when you walk around the world and you go grocery shopping and you tend to your children and you teach, your words may be different now. Your reactions may be different. This place of breathing and safety and pause allows you to decide for a moment what you send out. And we get to decide what comes inside. Which words, what energy, what people. We get to decide what to believe about what's outside of our rings of light. We always had that choice. We just forgot. We are the master of these rings of light, and we get to notice throughout the day what's inside our container. If it starts to get a little foggy in there, we can take a breath. Send the fog out. If it starts to feel confusing, we can take a breath and decide that some of those beliefs that we brought in last week don't work for us. I let them in, I checked it out, and I decided this part works and this part doesn't. So I set it outside my rings of light. These are the rings of light that you have always had, and these are going to be your rings of light forever. Notice if your rings of light have been bumped over to the left a little, or maybe they're rotating really fast and you need to breathe and return them to that original pace. As you walk around in your day, as you walk around in your dream world at night, these rings of light always hold you. And in one breath, you can run the entire circuit. In one breath, you can breathe from the center all the way to the heavens, return and back down into the earth and return to the middle again. One breath. Or you can spend dedicated time. One breath, one ring of light. One breath, one ring of light. You decide. And as you feel like you are ready, you can begin to open your eyes. You can begin to move your body a little if you feel like it. You become conscious and awake. These are your rings. You get to use them. You get to notice them. You get to keep them activated. And you get to use this container to be who you already know you are.